Hi, this is Mike of Nearly Enough Dice. This is the Kerbal Space Program. Trying this again. I'm trying different things. I'm putting little basic fins in because apparently the atmospheric model has changed. I'm using Kerbal Engineer Redux, and I put some basic fins on. I've also got a 2-stage rocket now, partially to try and get some more delta V by being able to chuck large amounts of my rocket off, but also to try and keep the nose heavy because I think that's been causing some of my problems. Now, a potential problem with putting fins on is I've not been able to find a balance between an aircraft that is a rocket that is so stable that I cannot steer it at all, and a rocket that is so unstable that it just, see, this is just immediately going straight. I'm actually having to fight to try and keep it pointing at anything other than straight up. And I'm immediately heading north, however. I swear to God, this is the most annoying thing I have ever done. Oh, just nothing is working. I'd say, apart from the fact that it's going north instead of east, this is not the worst profile I've ever had. But it's gone north for some reason, and I don't know why that's happened. And this game has gone from being relatively fun to play to being extraordinarily irritating to play very quickly. Well, this is actually quite a good profile. Apart from the fact it's going the wrong direction, and I don't know why it's going the wrong direction. Right, so I've run fuel. I'm actually gonna power down a fair amount. I'll go straight to the horizon at this point. Right. Wonky orbit. Wonky orbit. I don't know why I suddenly went off in one direction and not the other, but I don't. At perfect at this stage, if I can actually get to proper orbit, I'm just not going to care. But I'm finding getting off the ground and getting into orbit exceedingly frustrating at the moment, and I'm not having fun with the game at the moment. I'm really not having fun, which is a pity because, you know, that is kind of the whole point. Okay, so we'll point ourselves at the horizon. I'm not quite sure when to start. I don't particularly want to raise my apoapsis, and if I start too far away, that's exactly what I'm going to do. The more that I'm going to raise my periapsis. Well, I now have a periapsis, which means I could end up being in orbit. But I'm so close that I may end up not being able to just de-orbit myself. I can start asking things like how far. Let's get rid of the surface one. I don't need that anymore. Time to apoapsis, 52 seconds. So I'm doing is I'm just waiting until it's time to apoapsis of about a minute. I've got a really wonky orbit here. And as soon as I get that above 70, then that's what I've got. And then I don't want to get too far above that, because actually I want to be able to get my orbit below, my periapsis below 70, so I can aerobrake and thus get back home. Yes, and I have fuel left. What more could you want? So 68 Kerbal bucks, which I kind of needed, because I was in fact running out of everything. So this is a really wonky orbit, and I don't know why I suddenly went north. But I also don't care, because I have got here, so hurrah. Crew report. And we're going to EVA. And get the EVA report. So what I can do now, because as I'm actually getting different biomes as I go over. So here it says EVA from space just above Kerbin's Highlands. The first one I did was just above Kerbin's Mountains. So in terms of science, I can get a lot more. Grasslands. Okay, sweet. So each of these is 8 science every time I do this. And I just have to remember to store each time. So there we go. Okay, so just been over that bit, so I'm now over the water, so I'll probably be over the water for a little bit. Although there's some land coming up. Lord alone knows what my orbit's like. Very stupid orbit. But to an extent, I don't care. I got into orbit. This is orbit. Hurrah! I've already got that. Now the next question is, the thing is, I'm actually going to need to not only get into orbit once, I'm going to need to, I'm going to need to learn to get into orbit. Oh, that's fair enough. Pretty regularly, right? I mean, maybe what I'm just going to have to do is get so much money and get so much, get science to the extent that I'm going to be able to just get back into being able to make just really big, ridiculous rockets. I'm going to be under the water quite a while, I think. Yeah, so I can make just such big rockets and such ridiculously capable rockets that I just have to stop. I can stop caring about being sensible about my orbital profile. Possibly get KOS, assuming KOS does eventually. I mean, KOS. There is not currently an official KOS for 1.0. That's going to be coming soon. Now here's a question, am I going to be able to catch the shores? Because I'm going quite fast, so shores is going to be quite hard to grab. So I'm just going to grab this until it says, see if I can get shores. Still saying water, 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 shores. Then it's probably going to go straight to grassland. So by the time I have done all this, it's going to be back to grasslands, which I technically already have. Yeah, it's not letting me store that. So I've got. I'm going to get on. So I've got highlands, and I've got mountains, and I've got shores. I think I've got midlands. I'm not going to go over the poles or the deserts anytime soon. So I think it's time to go back. So dump experiments, because that's an experiment I've already got. That's fine. Oh, where am I going? Need to find retrograde, which we've got here. And yep, right, hang on. Time to apoapsis, 20 moments. So I'm gonna want to wait till I get to apoapsis. Because I don't know if I've got enough delta V to do it to deorbit anywhere else. I should have more than enough to deorbit, because I've only got to get 6K, and I'm doing it at apoapsis is going to be the most efficient. So. Oh dear, I should be more victorious. I should be doing the kind of the happy victory dance. But to be perfectly honest, this has been such a pain in the bottom getting to this stage. Let's chuck our SAS on, shall we? That's prograde. That's not what I want. I want retrograde. Right, time tap perhaps. So in this case, I don't want to be fancy schmancy. I'm just going to full burn when I hit apoapsis. I'm just going to do a full burn, and that should take my periapsis below 70k. And so long as it's below 70k, it will not matter. I will eventually fall to Kerbin. And I got some science. I don't think crew reports. I think you only get one crew report. It's just you're in low orbit. It's the EVAs that you get which are different. I think. Don't much care. Kind of wish I put a thermometer on the thing actually, but no. I'm not sure if they're actually massless anymore. Thermometers. Okay. Oh, that works. That worked really rather well. it says we're going to smack down here, but I mean, I'll be hitting the atmosphere. So I might as well I can literally just speed up until I hit the atmosphere, because I don't really need to do anything, particularly until I do hit atmosphere. And it should chuck me back down to warp 1. There we go. So I've now hit atmosphere. I'm going to try and point the body of the rocket. But no, where's KSP? I don't think I've put a flag down on KSP. I can never remember what KSP is without there being a flag on it. I think KSP is in there, and I'm not going anywhere near KSP. So, I feel like landing on land though for no very good reason. I'm not going to get huge amounts of cash back. I'm not going to get any cash back for the top half, the bottom half of this rocket, because I haven't put any shoots on it, so I'm going to lose all of this. But I can save myself a bit of grief in terms of speed and stuff by using what fuel I have left to slow myself down. So that should reduce the amount of heating shock. So I might as well do that. I'm going to wait till I'm over land, till I'm definitively over land. I'm going to just quickly check the crew report, see if I can get anything useful. No, okay. I didn't take it out and put it back in again. I'm not going to do that now. Right, I'm definitively over land. Well, that lasted a long time. That did almost nothing. Now, as I start to get into the upper reaches of the actual atmosphere, it's going to be harder to keep myself pointed the way I want to point, which I want to point retrograde, and it's going to be harder and harder to do that. It's going to want more and more to make the... Oh, hello. Is that one of my... That must be one of my... That's a flag I put down. Yeah, sweet. Yes, it's basically just going to be harder and harder to keep it pointed retrograde. I'm kind of wondering whether I want to try and make this into a crude heat shield. I'm vaguely curious to see if the single parachute I've got would be enough to get the whole thing. I would quite like to get as much of this back home as possible for the monies, but we will see. Interesting, I'm not getting an overheat indicator, which sometimes you get. I mean, I have an actual heat shield in there as well, but this is like the worst idea I've had, and shouldn't work at all. But I think I've got through that. Kind of tough. I'm fighting various atmospheric forces yes, we have definitely survived that. With no explodinating. Still going over the speed of sound, as you can see, by the Mach effect, but I no longer have any... There we go. Just for fun, I'm still going to be able to decouple if I need to. So, if at 500 meters when this deploys, if I still think I'm going to land in the water anyway. That's really rather annoying. After all that, I'm still going to land in the water. So parachute's going to go. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely wasn't going to be able to save all that lot. That's fine. Still in the water. I was hoping I was going to land somewhere that I haven't got any anything. Oh well, never mind. I'm going to recover that vessel. Well, I got to orbit, and the game crashed. So great. Right, come back, recovering the vessel. I should have known that there was going to be a crash. There's a thing that tends to happen. And you may note there's a slight difference in how things look. 42 science from that. Quite pleasing. So crew report while in space near Kerbin, in space just above Kerbin mountains, highlands, grasslands, water and shores. That all worked nicely. And then I got 10 science, which was actually pretty good. I got another water one. I think I must have got more than one water. Or I'd gotten water before. But I got 10 science just for getting this thing back. So now I'm on 86 science. Anyway, you might notice subtle differences in the way things have recorded. 101,000 funds. I can't believe that. Given I've only got 592 from the ship itself. And now level 1 pilot. Yeah. Basically, there's when I try and record, sometimes I just get a blank screen from the game. And generally, I find that if that happens, then there's very soon going to be a crash. No upgrading of that right now. That's certainly the case. Cables can perform EVAs. I've already got that. So that's already gone up one. Now I might want to upgrade mission control. I don't have enough to do tracking station. Tracking station, I want to get patched conics, and tracking station upgrade requires flight planning, which is another 75 grand, which I really also cannot currently afford. But I can maybe start getting other contracts. I'm wondering if any of these in flight. They're such a pain to get. I mean, they're very annoying to try and get in flight. Although this one looks reasonably easy. It's got a very broad range. Now here we go. Satellite contracts. That's where it's at. That's the thing that I'm wondering whether or not I can get. Oh, wow. I had a look at this. This is one of the tourist ones. I thought, no, most of the other ones have all just been suborbital space flight, right? There's another one. That's all great. 6 tourists safely to the destination and back, and they want suborbital spaceflight to the moon. Orbit around the moon, fly to the moon. Space tourists to the moon. I mean, this would be worth an utter shed ton of money, because each of these individuals is worth 117 plus 1, 2, 3, 4 times 970. And there's 6 of them, so they'll be worth quite a lot of cash. And I think that's some rep. Worth a lot of rep. I don't think it's happening. Satellites are the best way to make money, it must be said. Now I've got 86 science, so that's not quite enough to get this rank. These are all 90s, but there might be a couple. There might be something in 45 that I want. I quite like being able to get the T800 fuel tank. I don't think there's anything here I care about right now. Flight control. Now, reaction wheels and winglets. I think those might be what I would need right now. I also like the idea of the inline cockpits. Because then I might be able to make tourist contracts relatively easily. Well, actually I've got the hitchhiker. If I want to take tourists around, I've got the hitchhiker thing, haven't I? Let me go on with that. How many can you put in that thing? Crew capacity 4. I can chuck 4 Kerbals in there. That's just going to be going smaller straight up and then straight down again. But I'm going to take this one anyway. I want those reaction wheels. And then I don't quite have enough. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day there. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you've been enjoying watching this video. You can also find Nearly Enough Dice at nearlyenoughdice.com, where we have a role-playing game team podcast and blog. We also are on YouTube, which you should know by now because you're watching me. And we are also on Twitter and Facebook. And as always, until we meet again, reach for the stars.